Welcome back for Season 3 of the Sleds and Gear Snowmobile channel. On this season of the Sleds and Gear channel, we are traveling to the Saguenay region of Quebec for an epic 1,100-mile journey. Join us as sparks fly and tempers explode as we experience higher highs and lower lows right now on Season 3 of the Sleds and Gear channel. On this trip, we're led by Bruce, owner and operator of Snow Tour Quebec. Nora, riding a Polaris 650. Gary, riding a Polaris 650. Mark, riding a Skidoo 850. Ben, riding an XRS 850. Mike, riding a Skidoo 900 Turbo. And me, riding a Skidoo GSX 800.
That hasn't been frozen. Never been able to use it before without it being frozen. Now the one thing is, you ready to go? Everything's frozen solid.
Yeah, the truck says negative 18 this morning. That's pretty chilly. It's going to be chilly morning. I don't know if you can see that negative 18 there. My LCD display is barely even working. We'll get the sled out, see how it goes. I don't know. You guys ready to have some fun this week? Oh, hasn't been this cold in here in a while. See if she'll start.
"2,000 years later." One eternity later.
Alright, we finally got her started. I had to use the recoil to start it. We've gone about 40 miles. This is our first stop. And the GoPros aren't working. Oh, pretty cold this morning. Since the GoPros were frozen solid from staying out all night, I started today with a lunch at this snowmobile club. If you ever go there, do not get the buffet. We did some lake running in the afternoon, which was fun because we could actually get up some speed. The snow conditions were okay. They get better as we go north, and it was very cold the whole day. I was glad that I had this giant windshield on my GSX, even though it looks ridiculous. Broke a lot of the wind. So if you've never been to Quebec before, a lot of the terrain is tall, thin pine trees, and the terrain is really quite varied. There are some flatlands, a lot of river and lake crossings, and then later in the week we go up to Mont Valin, and you'll see a lot of interesting and diverse terrain, much deeper snow levels. Today was a really cold day, and the trails were really icy, especially in the morning. Notice you don't see much snow dust coming up because everything was frozen. And my sled did get a little bit hot. It didn't overheat. It just got a little bit hot, and I put the scratchers down, and that solved that problem right away. One of the other things that I decided to get for this trip, besides the large windshield, was a Skidoo oxygen flow helmet, and that really came in handy during these cold days that we experienced early on in the trip. And I elaborate a little bit more at the end of the video about my thoughts on the oxygen flow helmet.
Okay, so here are my initial thoughts on this oxygen flow. This is the first helmet I've been able to use, the sunshade, that hasn't been frozen. Never been able to use it before without it being frozen. Now the one thing is the helmet does freeze shut. It does freeze shut a bit, and it's sometimes hard to get open. But other than that, it's like a vault. There's no draft at all. If you're looking for a cold weather helmet so far, this is the one to get.
So while I didn't end up getting a lot of GoPro footage for the day, it was a long day for a first ride, 181 miles for the day. We ended up at the Hotel Marino Matawan in Le Tuque, Quebec, and to our surprise, they had closed the restaurant early. And so we finished up the day eating pizza in Bruce's hotel room, and it was actually really delicious pizza. We had a good time, and we'll close the books for day one on the Saguenay region snowmobile trip.